is Sherry Veronica of Naked Departure Radio, and I have a show that I have combined another matter that just came in. It has sent shockwaves throughout of St. Lucia. This is in regards to a Brian. No, we're going to do Brian afterwards. This one from St. Lucia is Botham, B-O-T-H-A-M, Shem, John, J-E-A-N. Maybe he has French background. He was killed in Dallas by a Dallas police officer. The thing is that Mr. John, a very young man, he was only 26 years old, was at home in his apartment, relaxing, doing whatever someone would do when they're home within their own space in their apartment. Now, this police officer got off her shift, drove to her apartment complex, opened up Mr. John's door and shot him. Now they're saying that she thought she was in her own apartment. Now, we're not going to speculate. We're just going to say a few things and then we're going to move on. But if you open up a door to an apartment, when the furniture may be different, the way you have your pictures on the wall, maybe where your TV is located, wouldn't there be a difference from the time you open up that door? You see, smell, feel a difference? Wouldn't that be something that we all would detect from the time we opened up that door? Now, we don't know why the door was opened. We don't know anything. We're waiting for the Dallas Police Department to give further clues. They did not release her name. All we know is she entered the wrong, quote unquote, wrong apartment, saw a strapping black man living there, occupying that space, and she shot and killed him. Now, what we know for sure is there is weeping in St. Lucia. It seems as though Botham Shem, John, was one of the good guys. He is being mourned by the whole of St. Lucia. There are hundreds of comments. People cannot understand how this young man could have been killed. They're saying, and we all know that black men, especially black males, are an endangered species, but it's not as though someone called the cops. It's not as though there was a complaint made for him with loud music or disruptive behavior. It wasn't as though Mr. John was on the street. He was in his home. He was in his own space. And a Dallas police officer, and we all know that police officers in America are armed, entered the wrong apartment on her way home from the end of her shift. And Mr. John ended up dead. That's all we know at this moment, but there's an uproar in St. Lucia, and I guess we have to wait for the Dallas Police Department to release further information on this particular matter. But it seems to have sent shockwaves. They are rippling throughout all of St. Lucia. As you hear these beeping on my computer, it's on that is the blog that the comments are coming in on as I speak. So rest in peace, Mr. John, and condolences to his family. On a second matter, this one is out of Barbados concerning Brian LINDSAY St. CLAIR Barrow. We'll call him Brian Barrow. he is related to the late Errol Barrow. Errol Barrow was the first Prime Minister of Barbados. Now, this particular man is a prominent attorney in Barbados, and he was accused of dropping rupees in a woman's drink at a bar and raping her. Now, what we have from her police report is she does not remember anything at all. She does not remember leaving the bar. She does not remember getting into her vehicle to get home. She does not remember Mr. Barrow being in her home. She does not recount having sex, giving consent. All she knows is she was at the bar. The last person she was with was Brian Barrow, and she has lost time, lost memory. So upon reaching out to him, since he was the last person that she saw, it is alleged in the report and from her sworn testimony that he told her that they had had sex. Now, this comes to a shock to her because she knows him to be a married man and she would have never have had sex with him per the report. This is not something she would have done. She was not even attracted to this particular Mr. Barrow. They were just at the bar talking, having drinks, just chilling at the bar. Now, we're hearing that she is not doing very well. We are hearing that family and friends are surrounding her at this point because she's suicidal. Now, Mr. Brian Barrow was picked up by the Barbados police and he was arrested for 2 days. He spent 2 days at the jail. But he was released because the lady, the complainant, had washed away. She had taken a shower. She had washed away the evidence. So he's back home with his wife and children, and the person who has sex, not knowing that she was having sex, not knowing that she was giving consent to a man that she barely knew, someone that she was just talking to at the bar, she ended up having sex with him without her knowing. She has no memory of it. If not for him telling her that he did, she would not have known. But after he told her that, she went to the police department in Oistins, Barbados, and she made a formal complaint. But now she's left to suffer. It's something that happens in Barbados all the time. We keep telling women when they go out to bars in Barbados to watch their drinks. You cannot even ask your friend to look at your drink when you go off to the bathroom or if you are not paying attention. You cannot even rely on your friend to keep an eye on your drink. You have to keep an eye on your drink because it is something that has been reported to Naked Departure as something that happens in Barbados often. It happens a lot. Women are drugged, usually by the bartender, and raped. And they have no memory of it, so there's no complaint to the police about it. But it's something that happens. Now, this particular attorney, he sits on boards, meaning that people trust him. People look up to him. It was carried in the newspaper, but it was obscure because they didn't call his name. The newspaper just said prominent attorney in sex probe. That's how it was a little blurb in the Nation newspaper. So without anyone within that particular intimate connection with the woman or the man no one would know what happened, but it so happens that a policeman, a police person, reported it to naked departure because they felt that the woman was raped. They felt as though this was not the first time that something like this happened, and they are asking women in Barbados who have had lost time with anyone that they report it. If you went to a bar and you are back home and you do not remember driving back home, you do not know how your car got back to your house, you remember nothing, report it. Question the person that you were last. Question your last memory. Question your last memory. Now, after I blogged on this particular matter, I got a call from someone that knows of the person, and that's where I heard that she is in a bad state. Now, the police officer who called in this particular blog also stated that the lady was devastated. Devastated. She's on the verge of having, from the police officer's observation of the woman, she said, the police officer said that the female looked as though she was on the verge of having a nervous breakdown. She was not taking it very well. So we are asking Bajan women to come forward. Rape is something that is normal in Barbados. We all know this. We all know that Bajan women don't even know when they're raped. This particular woman, she lives outside of Barbados. She visits Barbados, but she lives outside of Barbados, so she would have a clue, and that's probably why she alerted the police. But Bajan women, the ones that live there, they don't even know when they're raped. Even when they're being raped, they don't see it as rape because they just blame themselves right out the gate. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have gone to the house with him, or maybe I shouldn't have gone into the car, or maybe I shouldn't have worn this outfit. They blame themselves when something happens to them. They don't understand what rape is. They do not understand if a man touches them the wrong place, coerce them to do something. After you said no, they still proceeded. It's rape. It's rape. But rape is not a part of the landscape of Barbados. And if you do cry rape, a few dollars will get rid of that court case. That's all they need. Just put some money, just grease my palms, and you can carry on and go and rape someone else. Carry on your merry way. But luckily or unluckily in this particular case, because there's nothing lucky about being raped, but it so happens that this particular lady lives abroad, and she understood quite well when she did not understand what happened and why she was home or why she didn't remember. She understood what happened to her, and she had the wherewithal to go to the police and make the report. And although Brian Barrow was not charged, the mere fact that he spent 2 days in jail, the mere fact that he was picked up by the Barbados police, that was good on her part, that she made that happen. It was very, very good. She has to be commended that she was able to get that far, because usually he would not have been picked up. He would have said it was consensual sex, and that's it. That's it. That's as far as it goes, because he is a so-called quote-unquote prominent member of the Barbados society. He works for Barbados Today, which is a newspaper, so you didn't see anything about that in the newspaper. You're not going to hear Mia Motley talking about it, because he represented Mia Motley in some cases, so they have a client, attorney-client relationship. So nothing is going to come of this at all. Now, when he was locked up, not charged, but locked up, he spent 2 nights in jail. The police officer said that the wife did not even come to look for him. So maybe his wife knows what time of day it is and who she's married to. But, it's something that needs to be talked about, blogged about. We need to have an awareness. We need to let Barbadian women know what rape is. Something as simple as that. They don't know. They have to be educated from small to know what a good touch is and when no means no. Because a lot of women in Barbados think that if they do not want to have sex, let's say they told the man, no, absolutely not. And the man insists, and then after they got into it, the woman gets a good feeling. She catches a feeling because he's moving the right way. She would say, well, it wasn't rape because she actually started to enjoy it after, it started to get a feeling about it, after she started to feel good, because we are physical beings, and although you do not want something to happen to you, if it's happening and it tickles, it touches, it's just like you're just scratching an itch somewhere. It may not feel that bad, but initially it was no. It was no. So a lot of Barbadian women are confused. They're confused. But it's part of their DNA. It's part of the culture. It's part of their nature. Rape is part of the culture. You're going to get raped one way or another. One way or another. Every woman that is born and is living their lives in Barbados, they will have a story of rape. Of rape. They would have a story of rape. R-A-P-E. We need to call it by its name. Rape. When you say no and someone enters you, it's rape. It's rape. So to water it down, to water these things down, doesn't bode well for young people. It's going to continue and continue and continue. And where do we go? Where are we going to go? Are you going to continue to live like an animal where someone can just mount you and get off and just say, well, thank you, see you later? And when this particular story with Mr. Barrow went up, a lady called and told me about a rape that wasn't a rape. She called me of all people, and told me that she was on her way to work and a man, her neighbor, was outside her house staring at her, and she had some conversation with him, and he told her that he liked her. Like, I like you. That's like a big thing in Barbados. Oh, I like you. That's like romance. Oh, I like you. That's all you have to say. I like you. You don't have to go to dinner. You don't have to go to the beach. You don't have to talk. You don't have to, watch it. It's just, I like you. And she said, by the way he was staring at her, she didn't say anything because she wanted to say, boy, get out of my face. But she didn't say it because there was an aggressiveness to him. And she said to him, oh, I like you too. And when she said, I like you too, he raised her dress, pulled to the side her underwear, and inserted his penis and had sex with her on the side of her house. On the outside, on the side of her house. And as soon as he was in, he was out. And she said, well, it didn't last too long, so it wasn't too bad. She said that to me. She said that to me. She told me it didn't last too long, so it wasn't so bad. It didn't last so long, so it wasn't so bad. She was raped and didn't know it. She was raped outside her house on her way to work and thought nothing about it. Nothing about it. It's the culture. It's the way things are. It's just the way things are. So when Barbadian men decide to rape, they should not rape women who have left the island and know better. They've gone to bigger countries where there are laws against raping, where there are laws that say if a woman says no, it is no. It's not maybe so. It's not maybe. It's not, well, I'm not. No means no. So when you rape, you should rape someone who's right there and have never left the island. Because women who have left the island and gone on to bigger demographics, bigger countries, bigger cities, they understand laws and they understand how their bodies are supposed to be respected. They understand how their space is supposed to be respected. Even if you get on a packed train in New York City, even though it's packed, people still try to have that ounce of space. You still want to have that. It's an ounce of space. It's dignity. It's pride. It's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do to protect your space. So whereas women in Barbados are still grappling with their bodies, like, is it my body? Is it because I like him or I say good morning to him? Does he have the right to reach out and touch me, touch my shoulder, touch my... They don't understand off limits and parameters. And I've talked to many people who have said that rape was not even spoken of in Barbados, maybe in the 60s and 70s. Rape never, ever, ever came up, and women were being raped all the time. All the time. But it never came up, the word rape, because it was so natural. It's part of the culture. So if anyone who has been in the company of this particular subject and they had missing time, we are still asking that you come forward, because maybe if the police in Barbados can create a profile, you know, they'll be more able to understand if another complaint comes in the future. And that's another thing, Bajans don't think about the future. Bajans do not think about the future. But we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. So maybe if something has happened to you, there's an appeal. There is an appeal from within the police department now. There is an appeal for anyone who has had something similar happen to them to please call Naked Departure or call the Oistins Police Department and let them know that you have had a similar experience. Okay? So that's it for the show. Again, we want to give condolences to the family of Mr. John. J-E-A-N is the spelling of his last name. Botham, B-O-T-H-A-M, Shem, John. He was only 26 years old. That is very young. 26 years old in his apartment in Dallas, Texas, when a police officer came in, got into the wrong apartment and killed him, shot him dead. Not shot him in the leg, but shot him dead. He's dead. And the people in St. Lucia are mourning. They just cannot understand how this could have happened to such a nice person with the world of potential. The world of potential. Now he's gone. Now he's gone. So condolences to his family. And if anyone has ever had a situation with date rape or missing time confusion in Barbados, we're asking that you call into Naked Departure. We would like to speak to you. And it's Friday. It's the beginning of the weekend, and we want to wish everyone safety out there for the weekend. We want to wish you a great weekend, and we will speak to you soon. Thank you so very much for joining us today. This is Sherry Veronica, Naked Departure Radio.